Hi everybody, it's Diane from Intuitive Spirit Life. Today I'd like to talk about being a clairvoyant. So clairvoyant is clear seeing. You can see things with your natural eyes, you see things with your third eye. Things that I'm talking about are not of this world. They are of the spiritual world, and it is a blessing to have this gift if you know how to use it correctly. Now, I want to preface this by saying I've done some videos before on how to protect yourself, how to encircle yourself in white light, how to sage, what to do when you sage, sage yourself, keep your energy clear. Now, what I want to talk about is when you're reading somebody and you're using your clairvoyant skills. Now, sometimes spirit will show themselves and they will show themselves full on. And if you can see that, that is brilliant. Not all clairvoyants can see that. Some clairvoyants can see shadows. Some clairvoyants will see with their eyes closed and they'll see out of their third eye. Some clairvoyants will see like little snippets of an event that's happening, kind of like a movie. Some clairvoyants will get symbols like roses or hearts or a uniform or a flag. You have to know your symbols, for one, to speak with spirit, because you know what? It takes a lot for spirit to come in and talk to you, for one. You have to make sure that you are talking to the right spirit and you are talking to a white light spirit. You don't want to entertain anything dark, because that is just not okay. It will attach to you. You'll start having nightmares. You can have things in your room go crazy, so we're not talking about that. We're talking about the white light spirits. We're talking about when you're doing a reading for someone. We're talking about when there is a soul that has passed that wants to speak with you. Now, one thing is, I want you to know for a fact that you do not have to entertain spirit all day long and all night long. You can turn this on, you can turn this off, and you can pause it. Ask your guides, ask your God, ask your goddesses what to do to turn your gifts on, to put them on pause, and turn them off. They will totally guide you through this process, and it takes some work. So don't think that just because you see things, you're a clairvoyant. Yeah, you are seeing things, but you know, I really want you to take the time to train in this, because I don't want you to entertain anything that is not of white light. We're talking about white light things. We're talking about when you have a message that you can deliver to someone, or something has a message to deliver to you personally. So we're talking about white light stuff. I'm not talking about anything demonic. That's a whole nother ball game. But we're just talking about white light. So in being clairvoyant or clear seeing. Now when I do a reading, I use tarot cards. I usually read maybe about 2 tarot cards, and then all of a sudden I'll start seeing things. Now I don't literally see them. I will see them in my third eye. I'll look away, and then I'll find a corner that I can feel and hear spirit. Now, clairaudient is when you hear them talking to you. They talk in accents, they talk in different voices, soft, hard, you know, really brash. You can tell your clients, I have this woman here who is kind of talking very loud to me. She wants to come through, and this is what she's saying. So one thing I want to share with you is that I was doing a reading one time, and a grandmother figure showed up for me. I did actually see a grandmother figure, and I saw her holding 2 ears of corn. Now, to me, that makes no sense whatsoever. But I said, because I have faith in what I am saying, I don't not believe that I can't do this, because then you wouldn't do it, right? So I told the person I was reading for, I have a grandmother figure here. It seems like it's on your mother's side. And that's what the spirit told me. And they were holding 2 ears of corn. Does that mean something to you? Now this woman told me, yes, absolutely. I used my grandmother's corn steamer, and I just replaced it last week. So we know we were talking to her grandmother on her mother's side, so maternal grandmother. Your guides will guide you to the spirit. The spirit will guide you back. Now you're looking for validation. You're looking for stuff that you can say, hey, I see somebody with red hair. I see somebody that was in a uniform. I see somebody that was holding 2 ears of corn. Whatever it is, you want validation from that spirit, who they are. Sometimes people get names. Now, it could be just a J name. It could be a full-on name. all clairvoyants work differently, so try not to compare yourself to another clairvoyant because it won't be the same. Everybody has a different way. But I know one thing for sure, that all clairvoyants have symbols, like hearts or, buckets. For me, it's when I see a bucket over somebody's head, they're showering with little hearts. I know that they're showering with a bucket of love. So I know they love that person very, very much. Now that's a symbol for me. It takes time to learn the symbols from spirit, and it takes time for them to communicate with you in a way that you can understand, right? So that you can go ahead and deliver this message in the proper way. Now, one little warning I will tell you about clairvoyance, and I've said it at the beginning of this video, please be sure that you are protecting yourself in white light, that you connect to spirit, and you also, at the end of the reading, you disconnect from spirit because you don't want that energy coming home with you. You don't want to think about that anymore. That is for the client. You delivered your message, now you're done, so you're going to disconnect. It takes a little bit of practice to connect. It takes a little practice to give the reading, and then it takes a little bit of practice to disconnect. But one thing for sure, please be sure that you're encircled in white light. You're talking to a good white light spirit. I always ask spirit first, are you of white light and love? If not, you have to go away because I'm not going to entertain anything that is not of white light and love, right? So in saying all of this, being a clairvoyant is not bad. It's not, I don't know, people think that just because you're clairvoyant, you're looking around and you're seeing all kinds of things all the time. If you are, train yourself into how to start, pause, and stop, because you do not want to entertain spirit all day long. That is very exhausting. It takes a lot of energy from the psychic themselves, and it takes a lot of energy from spirit, and sometimes there's too many spirits coming in at once to deliver messages to we don't know who because we're by ourselves. So make sure that if that does happen, tell spirit, no, we're not entertaining you because I have nobody to deliver this message to. Now, if it's for you personally, probably spirit will show you in different ways. They'll show you signs like pennies or copper or feathers falling or the numbers or, repeated numbers, 111, 222, 1212, stuff like that. So that's a different thing that I'm talking about. I'm talking about clairvoyant here, where you can actually see spirit, or in your third eye you can get an imagery of the spirit. So know that it takes practice, know that it takes time, so give yourself a break. Know that you are not like everybody else. You get your messages in your own way, and that's perfectly fine. If you get your messages and you're trying to imitate someone else, the messages aren't going to be pure because they're not coming from your hollow channel. They're not coming from your guides, your guards, your enlightened self, okay? You have to be in that state to receive a message properly. Does that make sense to you? So make sure that you train yourself into, you know what? Okay, it's time to entertain spirit now. So quiet yourself and meditate. And if a spirit shows up, ask them first if they are of white light and love. If they are, do they have a message for you or somebody else? Normally, the message will be for you. If you're reading for someone, the message will always be for that person. But they will come through to you in a way that gives you symbols that you understand, so that you can go ahead and validate who the spirit is and then continue the conversation that way. I will tell you another quick story. Is one time I was reading for a client, and this spirit came through and was speaking French. Now I speak French, so I was going to charge this client. I joked with the client afterwards that I was going to charge them an interpretation fee because I had to take the French to English and then transfer it that way. But first I said, I have this French woman here and she's singing a song. Now she sang a song that I knew so that I could understand that she spoke French. So see how when she came through, she gave me something that I already knew and I could relate to. So I could say, okay, this spirit is French. Maybe she's from France, or however we got to wherever she was from. And the client understood, and then we could continue that way. So please be sure that you're encircling in white light and love. You're saging all the time. You're keeping your energy clear. You're keeping your client clear, and you're not entertaining anything that does not belong of white light and love. That is a totally different ballgame right there. So we're just talking about light and love spirits, and I know I'll get some comments saying, well, what about this and what about that? I am talking light and love spirits. That's what I'm talking about here. I'm sure there's plenty of other YouTube videos and other Instagram channels that talk about entertaining other types of spirits. I don't go there. I don't do that. And this is what I am doing. So if you have any questions for me and white light spirits, I would be happy to answer them. Leave your comments below. And I wish you happy, happy, happy clairvoyance, because it's a great gift. It's something that is very special, but you have to train it. You have to know what's going on. You have to understand your symbols. You have to understand that you are dealing with white light and nothing else. Nothing else. Also learn to connect and disconnect. Disconnect is huge in the spiritual world when you're dealing with spirit, because you do not want to take that home with you. You do not want to have your client have an attachment. And also you want to let them know, thank you, spirit, for coming through. And then we appreciate you, but we're done now. Okay, so happy clairvoyance, and I will speak to you soon.